Now to talk about universities and councils' network on innovation for inclusive development in Southeast Asia, or UNIID. We have someone who has been in Ateneo even long before the IBOC program started. She was the Communications and Networking Coordinator of IBOC Asia Phase 1 and is currently the Associate Director for Communication of the Ateneo School of Government. I would like to call on Ms. Mary Grace Santos, the Project Manager of UNIID Southeast Asia. A round of applause for her.
All right, so again, good morning to everyone. Good morning. Para tumaas ang energy lang natin lahat. All right, so again, I'm Grace Santos. I'm actually managing this exciting new initiative of the IBOP Asia program called UNIID Southeast Asia, which actually stands for Universities and Councils Network for Innovation for Inclusive Development in Southeast Asia. So this is actually a partnership project of the Ateneo School of Government, the National Research Council of the Philippines, and Canada's International Development Research Center. All right, so I think Sir Doy has already talked about this, but just to put in context what we are going to do in the next 3 years. So actually, as we can see in the region, Southeast Asia has actually experienced spectacular economic growth and increased poverty reduction over the last 3 decades. However, there is a big trade-off for this development. There's also rising inequality along with that economic growth. I would like just to direct your attention to the information over there about the Gini coefficients of Southeast Asian countries. The Gini coefficient is actually the measure, the standard measure of inequality used by countries. So with 0 actually representing perfect equality and 1 representing maximum inequality. So the Southeast Asian countries actually has 0.34 to 0.44 Gini coefficients. 0.44 is actually the Philippines Gini coefficient. So we actually have the highest we actually have the highest Gini coefficient in Southeast Asia. Next, please. All right, so innovation. So we're actually in the field of innovation. As most of us know, innovation at the core is actually the development of products, technology, systems, and processes that aim at making things easier, and in doing so, improving standards of living. But in reality, that is not really happening. I mean, indeed, innovation has led to rapid growth in the region, but it has tended to exclude the poor in the innovation process itself and the social challenges that they face as innovation targets, which further exacerbates poverty and inequality. Next. So, why is this so? So actually, our idea is that social justice, equality, and human rights are not really deeply embedded in innovation systems and social and political structures in the region, and that the metrics used to measure development are really largely economic and industrial in nature. So that social development, specifically human development, for example, the increase in levels of knowledge, capacities, and access to goods and services are not really used or not prioritized. So even innovation policies, as Sir Doy mentioned earlier, are mainly oriented towards economic, technological, and industrial development, with social development only as secondary. Next, please. All right, so I think Sir Doy actually presented this in one of his slides. So we're actually advocating for a new perspective for innovation and development. So that's IID, which stands for Innovation for Inclusive Development. Again, IID is understood as the innovation that reduces poverty and enables as many groups of people, especially the poor and the vulnerable, to participate in decision-making, create and actuate opportunities, and share the benefits of development. So in a nutshell, it's like democratizing the process of innovation. So it's innovation for all and by all. And with this process, with innovation being primarily knowledge and skill-driven, the project will be engaging the key agents that facilitate the production, diffusion, and application of knowledge for innovation in various fields, which are universities and national research councils. Next, please. All right. So UNIID Southeast Asia is actually a 3-year initiative. So we'll be running starting this year, 2012 to early 2015. And this idea was conceived by IDOP Asia of the ASOG and IDRC to first facilitate University and Research Council reinvention. Reinvention means to rethink, reorient, and retool universities and research councils to become effective and capable intermediaries of IID by actually integrating this idea and this approach in their core missions. So for universities, it's in teaching, research, and extension. And for research councils, it's in their priority or agenda setting. Grant making, because they give out research grants. Well, currently the individuals, but we wanted to become more, like, I'm not sure if we can do it, but institutional or with different peoples from different fields coming together to actually do projects. And of course, policy making, because councils have an advisory role. They play an advisory role in developing, for example, innovation policies. So that's one. Second, we also want to facilitate the establishment of formal and sustainable partnerships and collaborations between universities and councils to foster innovation research that actively links to and informs social policy. And thirdly, we want to develop champions and nurture innovation for inclusive development partnerships in Southeast Asia by forming a network among these universities and councils, and eventually connect this to a global movement, which will be UNIID South Africa, Latin America, and South Asia. Next, please. All right. So basically, in the long term, we aim to foster multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholder, and multi-level, meaning national, regional, and even global approaches, mechanisms, and partnerships towards IID. Alright, so just to give you an idea of the at least the institutions that we will be working with in the next 3 years. So the universities, so we will have 1 university per country. So we have the Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Of course, Ateneo, the Manila University, will be the lead university, at least here in the Philippines, with the School of Government being actually the project implementers. And we will also partner with a corresponding National Research Council in those countries. And again, with the National Research Council of the Philippines as the lead organization. Next, please. All right. So just to show you the network that we will be forming in the next 3 years. So again, eventually we will be connecting this to a global consortium involving similar projects and networks in Latin America, South Africa, and South Asia. And the interactions and collaborations among these key actors will be supported by regional knowledge sharing and information, regional knowledge building and information sharing platforms. Next, please. All right, just to run you through a quick run through of the activities that we will be doing. So more or less we're going to have 4 components. We have knowledge and capacity building, research support, meaning research awards, link to policy and network building. So actually, knowledge and capacity building, we will be developing a multidisciplinary IID course module and courseware for universities. Hopefully, we will be piloting also a social innovation lab within universities, and we'll also have capacity building workshops with councils. Next, please. All right, so basically that's what we're going to do for this year, 2012. The project will officially be launched this April. So hopefully you will also be there to attend that as well. And we will be bringing in representatives from all the universities and councils that we'll be working with. Next, please. All right, so just so you get to see who are the members of his team. So we have Dr. Romero, me, Lilac, and Vika for the Ateneo School of Government. You have Dr. Cecilia Reyes, who's the Executive Director of the NRCP, and Ms. Carmen Moreno, on the council side. And leading this from IDRC side is Dr. Elios here of the Singapore office of IDRC. Okay, so if you have more questions, feel free to just approach us later, and we hope to engage you and engage this project as well as we develop this for our universities and councils in Southeast Asia. Thank you.